Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Can you turn this down a little bit, the fan, a little down, it's too fast for me. Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namane Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaischa Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purushan Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasha Namami Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswaminiti Namane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singha Rupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava iti namane Atimartya Charitraya Swasrita Nanchapaline Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Srinama Prema Dayane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Namane Shivarsavana Videvi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Nama Madhurya Ujjala Premadya Shri Rupani Karuna Shakti Namostute Namaste Gauravani Bhartaye Dinatarane Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Advantaharane Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipravambara Sambodhe Padam Vijayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistva Nirdishta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratise Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Shabanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Suruto Pango Mama Mandamatir Gati Matsarva Svapadam Bojo Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrunadha Shrimad Ratnagar Simhasanasta Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prishtalabhisebhimanusmani Shriman Rasara Sarambi Vamshivata Tatakstitaha Venu Sunair Gopya Gopinata Shrestana Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachana. What's next? Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai. Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Kishore. You just came?
Yeah. Well, a couple weeks.
Couple of weeks, okay. Gone like 4 months, something like that?
3.
3, okay.
3.5-ish.
And then there was one missing, your boy.
He's a little sick. Lakshmi's a little sick right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting sick now.
Yeah, something going around.
Yeah, something is going, and it hit me along the way.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And nice to see the girls. Every time I see their faces every few months, like, oh, who's that? And then, oh, yes. Did they have a nice visit in New Braj? Yeah? You liked it? What made it so good? What did you like about being there? Friends. And you also have a place there now.
We have land, but no.
Oh, you haven't built. Bring a motorhome or something. No, mobile home. Yeah. Good. Okay. No rush. We're here in Navadvip. Can stay the next 10 years, accumulate a little money, and then. Okay, this is your first program. Yeah. I'm so honored to be with Uma Devi and also with Chandrasekhar Prabhu in their newly acquired flat. because they're doing their sadhana bhajan here. So they wanted to have a program. Soon he has to go to down under. Yeah. But Uma will be here. We should come and visit with Uma. We should all come. She's very good kirtan singer. When we were coming, she was leading Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya. Yeah, very nice. So, yes.
This has a little food stand.
Oh, you do? Oh my God. They thought of everything. Uh-huh. Okay, I will check it out. What is it? Well, of course I need it. Okay. What's that? That's the other microphone. There's two?
That's for recording, I think.
Oh, okay. On the neck or where?
Over the ears usually.
Over the ears, okay.
Or over there. Over the beanie.
Mm?
The toque.
Okay, let's check out the quality of the sound. Is it turned on?
Yes, that's not yet.
Uh-huh. This switch here? Hari. Oh, good. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Last program I didn't have enough lung capacity to broadcast. So I asked them to arrange speaker. Nowadays, getting weaker. So, we will have a little bit of kirtan. Do you want to lead one? Okay. We'll just do, what's the time? Oh, there's the time, okay. 12. What was the schedule again? 4:30 till?
5:30.
Till 5:30 budget. Okay, so we'll do 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll do 10 minutes. And then hour and a half for the katha. Today we are going to hear more nectar. Is anyone interested to hear more nectar? Huh? Yeah, because I already told everyone at Radhastami that that book that I was reading from, Srila Gurudev's, it's actually, I consider it a very amazing compilation. All the compilations in that book by the different acharyas, by Srila Gurudev himself, from his books also, they're just wonderful, wonderful. Each acharya glorifying Srimati Radharani. So I said, we can just go on for the whole year, hearing each and every one of these. So today we're going to hear, I think it's the second one in the book. I'll have to look again. I have it on my iPad. And we'll hear that nectar. And it is nectar. And it will also test us if we have been paying attention for many years or not. Because Gurudev is describing some very, very specific tattvas, especially Dham tattva. But in the Dham, then the divine couple. So we will learn so much today. Okay. Yeah. So, let me just check here. Okay. So this is an excerpt from the lecture given in Murwillumbah, Australia, on the 31st of December in 1998. 98. I was there. And it's also published in the Rays of the Harmonist, the same lecture, issue number 5 in 1999. So it's a very wonderful, because Gurudev at that time, he was beginning to unfold when he went to the West. Beginning to unfold. What katha needs to be heard by all of us. So this is called Vrishabhanu Nandini, and we will read it after we do kirtan. No, we just sang that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any other? There are so many. I know what his favorite is. Your favorite Guru song.
All right.
Huh? You have to remind me that the first line. Guru, okay.
Okay.
But as you like.
Kripa Guru Vaishnava Thakur.
Okay.
Kripa Guru Vaishnava Thakur.
Kripa karo Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa karo Vaishnava Thakura. Abhimana Haudura. Kripa karo Vaishnava Thakura. I just want to put it back.
Krishna
Nalaigo puja kar. Translation?
Please bestow your mercy, O Vaishnava Thakur, by knowing my relationship with Sri Krishna and constantly engaging in bhajan, my false ego will thus be dispelled. If I develop the idea that I am a Vaishnava, then I will never become humble. My heart will become contaminated with the desire to receive honor from others, and I shall go to hell.
I will know myself to be your servant, giving up the false conception of Guru. With sincerity, I shall always honor your remnants, the water that has washed your feet and the dust of your feet. If I consider myself to be superior to all and give my remnants to others, remnants and so forth to others, the weight of my false pride will become very heavy. Thus, always remaining in the mood of your disciple, I will not accept worship from others. If I renounce the desire for honor for myself and instead offer respect to others, you will give me the qualification to perform kirtan. Without duplicity, I shall cry and roll on the ground at your feet.
You have a gong?
I don't.
You don't.
Gongless.
How many pairs of kartals do we have? Only one.
2, 3, altogether 4.
Okay. Please take them into the hands if you have the desire to play. But we should have the kartals being played. I know Bopadev Prabhu is a good kartal player. Yeah. So give one pair to him. Come on. All right. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahabhajanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaura Tishe Namaha Nityanandam Namastu Bhyam Prema Ananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Nama Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm paying my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Guru Dev Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astutarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm paying my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Guru Devs Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtotarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtotarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I pay my Dandavat Pranams to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Vaishnava Acharyas, and I pay my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis, very special souls who happen to be here in Navadvip Dham by some good fortune after many, many lifetimes. So I told already, for those who didn't make it here quite at the beginning, is that I'm going to continue reading Srila Gurudev's book, which I started on Radhastami, which is the book of compilations called Sri Radha, Our Supreme Treasure. And I've been looking into it, and I can see that this could go on for many, many lectures in the future. Each and every one is so special. Each and every one, so special. So, to begin the book, I'm going to read this particular chapter, but to begin the book, I am going to read the first thing mentioned in the book. Okay, so here is a question being asked. Do you know that there's a whole book of questions and answers given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? It has the name of that after this. So it's always very astonishing when you Hear Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. No one is like him. No one is like him. All of our gurus and acharyas are very unique in their own right, in their own way, in their own expression of their realization. Everything. They're completely unique. But one thing is, they are on this Rupanuga pathway. All. So they decided to take this excerpt, a very small, short excerpt, which was published in our Raise of the Harmonists magazine in Gaur Purnima 2009. Yes, so here it is. Here's the question. Don't forget the question. Here it is. Very important question. By what means can one receive the complete mercy of Sri Krishna? Not partial. The complete mercy. We all know, because we've been hearing from our acharyas for a long time, we all know what they're referring to as the complete mercy. What do you think that means? The complete mercy. Not partial, absolutely complete. What do you think that means? Well, first of all, it means there's absolutely nothing missing. You're getting it all. But guess what? There is only one way to get it all. Not two ways. Only one method, only one way. So here's the answer given by Srila Prabhupada. When Sri Varshabhanavi Devi, who's that? The daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, Varshabhanavi Devi, Srimati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, when she accepts someone, when she accepts them as her very own, when she accepts someone as her very own, what does that mean? She accepts them as a Rupanuga, or one of the followers of Sri Rupa Goswami. Yes? When she accepts that person. Then only when that happens, her acceptance, then only at that time, only is the full mercy of Krishna accessible to him. We don't quite often hear of this exclusivity, especially when there's a general audience. There's no possibility of discussing this point with a general audience. Also people, newer people in that way, you see. So, how do you get the complete mercy of Sri Krishna? When Sri Varshavanabi Devi Srimati Radhika accepts someone of her own, as her own. As her very own. And that means that that person will only be accepted by her if they are Rupanuga. And that's not a small thing. That's a very tall order. We will have to take a few lifetimes to become Rupanuga. But even if we strive fully in this life, fully surrendering, and praying and begging and weeping and all that Gurudev has told us that will be necessary. You won't get this without that. You won't get that. One time Gurudev said, he said, if you want to come on this pathway, you will have to be prepared to cry oceans of tears. And he said, no one should see you crying. You have to be alone. You cannot display this anywhere. That is required on this pathway. Because when we see actually the true description of what Rupanuga Vaishnavas, what is their aim, their objective, what is their process that they're following, then we see. You cannot cut corners at all. It's very, and you'll see what he says next. So then he says, only in this way is the full mercy of Krishna accessible to him. He can only attain this fortune if he can become a kinkara. You all know the meaning of the word kinkara. It's one of our favorite words in Gurudev's Sangha. Kinkuri, kinkara. What does it mean? There's even a little, at the bottom of this page, a little description. It comes from two words, kim and kori. Kim means what? Kori means, what can I do? So those who are the servants of Srimati Radhika in the transcendental abode, they are extremely active. They're extremely active. You know, I have a tulsi, beautiful tulsi plant on my veranda there at the mutt. And every morning I come, just as the sun is rising, and I say the tulsi prayers that we never say here because Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj has written another version of that tulsi prayer. For who? He's written it for persons who are not so advanced, that they can even dare to have this aspiration. What aspiration? To become a kinkari of Srimati Radhika. But yet, I don't know how this happened exactly, Bopadev will remember a little bit, that way back, when this prayer, Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Nama, Radha Krishna Seva Pabo E Abhilasi. I remember the first translation that we had in 1970 in Chicago, and somehow it got sent to our temple. And it was not very accurate at all. Seemed like the Hindi-speaking person tried to translate this Bengali. And I remember oh Tulsi, please remain in my garden and remain green forever. Remember that? Huh? Remain in my garden and remain green forever. Really, I'm serious. You never heard that? For the first year or two, that was what we said. As after we circumambulated, after we sang the song, we paid obeisances, then we would speak that in English. It actually had no connection, really. I don't even remember what was the translation of the remaining verses of the song, but it didn't make very much of an impact, but nevertheless, we were doing. And then we also had a prayer to circumambulate Tulsi. Yani kani cha papani brahma hatyadikani cha tani tani pranashyanti pradakshina pade pade. You see? After 55 years, still there. Okay? Because we really said it a lot. But what does it mean? Gurudev explained this to us, especially when he came to Badger the first time. When he came to Badger the first time, they invited him to do a program. Sorry. They invited him to do a program in the temple on the Hogback Road. They had some mobile homes joined together, and it was like a temple for the community. And then Gurudev allowed the devotees to do what they generally do with their songs in the morning. And they sang this prayer, Yani Kani Cha Papani. And Gurudev didn't say anything immediately. But after he said it in a very humble way, he said, yes, this is very good. It's okay for public program. But for your own private bhajan, then you'll have to adopt another type of prayer. Because this particular prayer, and I think it's from Hari Bhakti Vilas, somehow or other they got it from there, but it's talking about how by circumambulating Tulsi Devi, then all of your sinful reactions will be destroyed. Jani Kani Cha Papani, Papa, Brahma Hatya Dikani Cha. Even if you made a really bad sinful aparad of killing a Brahmana, Brahma Hatya, to kill a Brahmana, even if you've done that, Brahma Hatya Adhikani Cha, Tani Pranashyanti Pradakshina Pade Pade. That means with each step, as you're circumambulating Tulsi, all these sins are being mitigated. Now, is that a good thing? Of course it is. We want to purify our sins. So that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. However, those who are aiming for deepening their bhajan in Braj bhajan. This is what Gurudev came to the whole Western world to teach. He did not come to teach Vaidhi Bhakti and all of that. Srila Prabhupada had thoroughly taught that, thoroughly. And he had given all the books to support it. But Srila Gurudev was asked by his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, to translate all the important Bengali books of our acharyas into Hindi, because Gurudev is Hindi speaking. And he worked very, very hard for many, many years. Even the final 15 years that he was traveling all over the world. And one book after another, even there were some that weren't completed, but they've been getting completed. He wanted this. This was the desire of his Guru Maharaj, and actually it was the desire of our Srila Prabhupada. Do you know that? Our Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he said in 1975, I was there in Los Angeles when the letter came from Prabhupada after we had completed the publication, this marathon, 2-month marathon. You've probably heard me tell the story before. In 2 months, 18 books were published and printed in 2 months. And usually they were taking 1 book per 6 months. But now they had some new computer typesetting equipment which speeded things up. So Prabhupada took a little tour, saw that. It was like the first generation of computer typesetting. In other words, you type it in, the computer does the rest. It does so much work all night long, you know. And so then Srila Prabhupada asked to the devotees, so how many books you are now, you've fallen behind my translating, how many books? And they said, Prabhupada, there are 17 books, 17 or 18, I forget now. 17 or 18 books. In fact, it was the whole remainder of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There were only 2 books published, and it was going to be 17 volumes. So they had 17 more volumes, because Prabhupada had already finished translating it months and months before. And now Prabhupada's asking, so how quickly can you go? And then Rameswar Prabhu, who actually lives here in Mayapur, he was the BBT trustee at that time. He was doing all the communications for the whole society with Prabhupada and then printing a monthly newsletter, so that's where we would get news of Srila Prabhupada. We didn't have internet back then. So Rameswar said, oh, Srila Prabhupada, we can go so much faster than we were doing previously. And I was with the press for 2 years in New York before it moved to Los Angeles. And it was very slow process because everything was by hand. It's called paste up. You know why it's called paste up? On the computer, cut and paste. Do you know why? Because that's how it was done before. The type, the print that you're going to now lay out on a page and make sure that everything, you have to have the crops exactly. You cannot deviate even 1/16 of an inch. Everything has to be perfect. But it was a very tedious process because we had to run what the typists had done. We had to run it through a waxing machine. So the bottom of the paper got waxed, right? And then we had to do what is called burnishing. Burnishing means to take the other side of your razor blade, that is your main instrument, and use the blunt part of it to go like this. Create a little bit of heat, you know, and it makes it stick on there more, okay? That's called cut and paste. But there's more cutting, because many words on the page also became a little bit damaged because of the waxing. Little piece, tiny piece would come on the page, and then we had to do the typist had to type the whole word again, or the whole sentence again, or the whole paragraph again. They had to type it. Then we had to run that through and again do that. So, to make a long story short, Ramaswar told Prabhupada, previously you could only do one of your books every 6 months. But now, Srila Prabhupada, we are pretty sure that we can do one book per month. That means 6 books every 6 months. And now, even just with those books, how many books were they behind? The remainder of Chaitanya Charitamrita and 5th canto, 2 volumes. Right? So like 18 books. They were behind. So how long at that speed would it take for them to catch up with Srila Prabhupada? Huh? Yeah, a year and a half. And Srila Prabhupada was very aware, ain't no time to waste. How long he will be here on the planet, it has to be completed. Not only that, but Prabhupada was moving forward, continuing with the translation of the other, of the 9 cantos. And then he started the 10th canto. Only got up to chapter 14, you see. So now, when they reported this to Srila Prabhupada, we think we can speed it up so much. We can do 1 book every month. And Prabhupada was silent. He kept on walking with his cane on Venice Beach. He was silent. Then he stopped. You will have to do it in 2 months. All. They completely freaked out. Ramaswar and this Radha Ballabha, remember him? They freaked out. He was production manager. He says, Prabhupada. Then Ramaswar said the wrong thing out of his mouth to Prabhupada. You know what he said? Srila Prabhupada, that's impossible. Prabhupada stood there like a lion with his cane planted in the sand, staring him right in the face. And then he quoted Napoleon. You know what the famous quote from Napoleon is? The word impossible is the word in a fool's dictionary. You must complete all in 2 months. Otherwise, you are disqualified as disciples. So now, this became as urgent as you can ever imagine. They freaked out. So they went to the back of the party. They began to discuss, the only way this is going to happen is if we call from all the temples around the world that devotees who have knowledge or ability and skill in editing, devotees who can paint paintings, because you need paintings, at least like 5 or 10 paintings for each and every volume, that they can do editing, they can do layout, they can do all these things. They have to come to LA. So we have to increase the number, right? And then, what was the other thing that they can utilize? Time. Time. So, they began to understand that if we're going to complete that in 2 months, then they made a huge, gigantic, chart in the room of the production manager. And that chart was to show at which stage each one of these volumes is, because they have to go through all the different departments, editing, proofreading, everything. So there are many, many, many stages. But guess what? They have to do 2 complete books per week. How much increase is that, you mathematicians? They were going to do 1 book per month. Now they have to do 2 books per week. How much is that multiplied? Huh?
800%, right?
800% increase. Yeah, I think so. So, their understanding was that we will have to have a 24-hour shift of devotees. 24 hours. So they need more devotees to come, more devotees to come, more artists to come, everything. But guess what? They came, and I was one of them. I had just landed, coming back from India for the first time, and I heard that on the morning that I was having breakfast in the New York temple. So I immediately went up to the office of the temple president and said, Prabhu, I just heard the newsletter from Ramaswar, and this amazing story of Srila Prabhupada. He's given them this instruction to do 18 volumes of books in 2 months. So I think that probably Ramaswar is trying to find me, because I just came back from India. And sure enough, when he called him on the phone to the LA temple, and he told him, Urukram Prabhu, he's here with us now in our temple. He just arrived from India yesterday. Urukram, put him on the phone immediately! And so he put me on the phone, and the only thing he said is, get on the next airplane! So that's what I did. And for 2 months, non-stop. Not non-stop, we had shifts. We had 3 different shifts in the 24-hour period. So each person was doing like 8-hour shifts. And we were watching on the chart how the book is being completed. And now it's now it's ready to send to what? I think it was in Louisiana or somewhere. They had the main printer for all of Prabhupada's books was there in one of the southern states. And so, they were the printer. And for each book that was going to be now printed, of course they had to send everything to the printers, and then the printer could make it into a book. And every single week, the huge, gigantic truck from that printer came. I don't know how many copies they were ordering of each volume, but it was at least 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, I don't know. But they did it. Every week, these books came off of the truck. They were loaded into where? The Sankirtan room. Boxes. Then what happened to those books from there? the Sankirtan devotees, book distributors, like Bopadev Prabhu, like, what's the names? I can't even think of names right now. Tripurari, Vaishasika, so many book distribution stars, and they did that for many, many years. But now they went directly to those boxes, put them into their book bags, and probably took another extra case. And where did they go? To the airports and other places. So anyway, I'm getting, I told a lot of details here, but I just wanted you to understand the significance. Because I'm about to tell you that at the end of that whole 2 months, we finished on time. We were very frightened that we might be a day late, but no, we finished right on time. Then Ramaswamy reported this to Srila Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada wrote a letter back. And that letter was posted outside of the Los Angeles temple. It's still the same place right now on Watsika Boulevard. So there was like a glass bulletin case, and that letter was posted there, pinned there. So when I remember reading it, and there were 2 questions that Ramaswamy wanted to ask Srila Prabhupada. First question was, Srila Prabhupada, now that we're going so fast, and you're also continuing on very quickly, perhaps you may complete the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. So then, if you do that, what will be the next project that you'll start translating? And he suggested something like Mahabharata or Vedanta Sutra. And Srila Prabhupada answered, he said, no, not those literatures. They are not as important to us in terms of bhakti as the books of the acharyas, the Goswamis. They should all be translated. And now that's pretty much been completed. Almost all the books have been translated. There's probably a number more, but anyway. Then he asked the second question, and this is the big one. Srila Prabhupada, if you cannot complete the translation, continuing translation of the Srimad Bhagavatam before you leave this world, can you tell us, is there anyone else who can do it? And then Srila Prabhupada said, there are only 2 persons. And believe me, this has been burnt into my memory, which can never be erased. Even if I change the next 100 bodies, it'll still be there in my subtle body. Prabhupada said there are only 2 persons on the planet who can write the purports to the Srimad Bhagavatam in English language. Myself and my godbrother, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj ki Jai. So, when I saw that, I understood something very clearly. He is on Prabhupada's level. So I need to meet him. But that was 75. So 77 came, then Srila Prabhupada was performing his illness pastime and his departure pastime. And then I came back to India. That year I was there for a whole year, in 77. And then in 79 I returned, after Prabhupada had departed. And one of the things I wanted to do was, guess what? I wanted to meet this person, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. I mean, we didn't even have photos of him. At that time we had practically, there was, with the BBT, some audio, that he spoke, right? So, but all I knew was he is the person that I'm going to have to fall at his feet and beg for his mercy. So when I came to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati, actually what happened was I asked my godbrother, who was named Subhag Brahmachari at that time, and now he's a Subhag Swami, and he's one of the ISKCON gurus, and I think GBC also. very wonderful, pure Vaishnava. He's Bengali, but he joined the movement in London in like 68 or 69. So I had a nice, friendly relationship with him. And I was walking on the top of the tall building. I mean the long building, sorry, the long building. We used to call it the long building because there wasn't any other building. I mean, just the long building, the Chandrodaya Mandir, and the wall, which had rooms in it. That's it. So I was walking in the evening time on this rooftop and chanting, like 5 p.m. or something, in dusk. And I suddenly met Subhag, who was also walking and chanting on the rooftop. And then I stopped and I said, Subhag Prabhu, have you ever met this personality, Prabhupada's godbrother, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj? And I didn't tell him about Prabhupada's letter, what Prabhupada had told. I didn't mention that to him. But he said to me, he says, yes, I have met him. You have? Where is he? Well, he's on the other side of the Ganga, in Navadvip. He has his own temple there, his mutt. It's called Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt. And I go there. I go there now and then. And I sit and I listen to him and all that. I want to go. I want to go. You have to bring me. And then, what did he tell me? He said, oh, well, you know, there's a bit of a problem. And the problem is that the GBC, this is, 2 years after Srila Prabhupada departed, and the GBC have decided on their own that only persons that should go to meet Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj are them. And if I would have had like a big glass jar in my hands at that moment, I would have gone, never! Never! I would have done that. Absolutely, I would have done that. So I said, I don't care what they say. I know what Prabhupada said. And another thing is, after Prabhupada departed in 77, the next year in 1978 was the first year that the GBC had their GBC meetings, and they followed what Srila Prabhupada had told them to do in his final days. Because they asked him, Srila Prabhupada, you may leave the world now. Is there someone you can recommend to us we can go to for guidance? Yes, you go to my godbrother, B.R. Sridhar Maharaj. So I knew what Prabhupada said. And he didn't say, make sure that only you GBC go to him. Never, never. Prabhupada wanted him to come and live right here in Mayapur. There's a conversation, transcribed, where Srila Prabhupada is telling that, and he's talking with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj directly. And he's telling him, Maharaj, I want so much that you will come and you will stay in Mayapur. Jaipataka Maharaj is building me a house. And we can both live in that. Not only that, because Srila Sridhar Maharaj was almost invalid at that time, quite invalid, almost blind also. His health was not good. And he thought that he would leave the planet before Prabhupada. But it turned out Krishna had a different plan. Even in that condition, Krishna kept him 11 more years on the planet. And in that 11 more years, he gave darshans, which were recorded, audio recordings of 1,200 hours. Many books have been made from all of those recordings and darshans. But anyway, back to the 1979, where then he said, okay, well, I'll take you there tomorrow in the evening. So we should meet a little bit early, like 4 p.m., and then we'll go out the front gate. There were no people at that time, not like now. You can't even imagine. It was only rice fields here. No, there were no temples, there were no shops, it was all rice fields at that time. So he said, yes, so we will go across the Ganga and then I'll bring you there to Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. So this was very exciting for me that I'm going to now meet face to face this personality. What will it be like? What will it be like? What will be that experience? So then, I was going to say that when the GBC in 78 followed Prabhupada's instruction to go there to Navadvip and consult with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they did that and they recorded the whole conversations with him. I think on more than one day they did that. And that book, Sri Guru and His Grace, of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, others also, they made from a lot of those conversations at that time. So when we came on the other side of the Ganga, then we took a rickshaw and we stopped to buy a couple of green coconuts, dabs. And then we went to the mutt. We entered the front gate, that holy, sacred front gate, that Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, every year after Gaur Purnima, he would, before he even entered the mutt, he would pay his obeisances outside of that gate, full dandavats, and then he would enter, and then he would go upstairs to meet Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who is his most intimate godbrother, and also who is his sannyas guru, you see. So we came inside of the mutt, and one of the older devotees, forget his name, he was there and he recognized Subhag. Not only that, but it was summertime, very hot. And guess what? The electricity went off. And guess how long it goes off for in those days? A couple hours, maybe 5, maybe 10, you never know. So when we came there, this devotee said, yes, Guru Maharaj is there on the rooftop. He is lying down in the open air because it's very hot. So without the roof over him, where his room is, but it was like an open air rooftop. When you come up those stairs, that's where it was. And there was just a simple bed that he was lying on his back. And one of his disciples was fanning him. And then, so then we came and we paid our dandavat pranams right there. And suppose that this is the edge of the bed that he's lying on. Okay, and his head is right here, looking up like this. I paid my dandavat pranams right here, and I sat up right there, where his head is this far. And now, Subhag began to tell that, there's this Western godbrother of mine from America. He has not met you, so he's coming to have your darshan for the first time. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj, lying on his back, I can't even describe in words practically what an incredible experience that was. He began immediately in English to speak Harikatha. What was he speaking? I do remember that he was speaking about the sweetness of the holy name of Krishna. How sweet is the name of Krishna. And at that time I didn't know the shloka, but Rupa Goswami, his famous shloka, Tunde Tandavani Ratam Vitanute Tundavali Labdaye, where Rupa Goswami is expressing that I don't know what kind of incredible sweetness is there in these two syllables, Krishna. Because when I hear them, I want to have millions of ears. And when I say these syllables, I want to have millions of tongues. And when that holy name enters into the courtyard of my heart, it makes all my senses completely inert. I don't know how much nectar is in the holy name, these two syllables. So that was the topic, and it was like only 12 or 15 minutes. He wasn't so well, and he just was speaking what he was meditating upon at that moment. Because that's what Srila Sridhar Maharaj did. He used to say, my whole life is simply to sit here, where his mat was, to relish all the conceptions, to relish and taste all the conceptions of the previous Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas. That's what I do, you see. So in this way, we had that first darshan, and I was just blown away. Then he kind of excused us, and he said, now you may go downstairs and take some prasadam. In those days, the boats took more than an hour to get across because there was only rowboats. But you should go back to Mayapur, and you should take some prasadam and then return back, and come again in the morning time on another day when I am fresh, and then I will be able to sit with you for some time. And I did that 2 more times in that same time period. And he sat with us for more than an hour, you know. I asked him one question, then he began to answer it. It took about an hour for him to answer the depth of that question. And then I came again one time where I met a godbrother from New Vrindavan in America, and he wanted to meet this famous Sanskrit scholar named Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. So Sridhar Maharaj's name was going all around in ISKCON at that time, because what was recorded by the GBC in that first meeting with him, that was transcribed and sent to all the temples around the world. Yeah, that's the first time that I actually read the direct Harikatha of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I was in Mombasa, Kenya, East Africa, and it came to our mail, and I opened it up, and here it was. The person who Prabhupada said is the only other person that can write the purports to Srimad Bhagavatam in English language, besides himself. So I had already read his astonishing Harikatha, but now I'm with him. Physically I'm with him. And it was such an experience because I began, we didn't know much about him. There was no biographical information given to us, all of this, but gradually we began to learn. Then of course, eventually, after time, it was published, his biographical information. So, yes, so, then it was eventually published. So we didn't know that much about his life, when he came to the Mat, all of that. But we knew that he's the sannyas guru of Prabhupada's sannyas guru. We knew that. He's very senior, very knowledgeable, and we began to understand that he's highly respected by all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas as being like the living Siddhanta Acharya. You have a question and you can't find an answer, you go to Sridhar Maharaj, you see. So in this way, my connection with him began, and it was all connected with doing the marathon which Srila Prabhupada wanted, and like that. And also doing what Prabhupada instructed, that we should approach Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. So I followed that. And that's a much bigger story after that. So I'm going to tell you what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has told. He said, for the question of by what means can one receive the complete mercy of Sri Krishna? This is a good question, right? Complete mercy. Usually when we say, oh, give me mercy, but when it is required that you get Krishna's complete mercy, how can you do that? What is the means? And then Srila Prabhupada says, when Sri Varsabhanavi Devi, Srimati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, when she accepts someone as one of her very own, as a Rupa Nuga, or one of the followers of Sri Rupa Goswami, then only is the full mercy of Krishna accessible to him. Then only. He can only attain this fortune if he can become a Kinkara. Kinkara means personal servant of Sri Guru, who's always trying to serve him, overwhelmed by serving. And that person, the Kinkara, if a person can become Kinkara of Sri Guru, who is himself the best of the followers of Sri Rupa Goswami, then that full mercy of Krishna can become accessible to him. So there, now he's telling how to do that. One little paragraph. And we should pay close attention because we always say it on our lips. We always say, Tranadapi Sunichena, Tadadapi Sunichena. We always say that. How do we think about it? What is our conception of it? Here it is. Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta is saying, it is thus necessary for each and every one of us to become Trinad Api Sunichena. What? To become what? All of you. It is necessary for each and every one of us to become Trinadapi Sunicha. That means more humble than a blade of grass. So to become Trinadapi Sunicha, what will we have to do? Can we just talk about it? Oh, I feel like I'm just lower than a blade of grass. No. You can't fool Krishna. You can't fool Srimati Radhika. No. Every one of us, in order to become Trinad Api Sunich, we shall have to completely forsake our present identities, our present qualities and possessions. Right? We'll have to forsake that completely. And in place of that, it doesn't matter whether you're super wealthy, whether you're super beautiful, educated, this or that, or you don't have any of that. It doesn't matter. Because to become Trinadapi Sunich, we will have to forsake our present identity, our present qualities, and our possessions, and we must identify ourselves as the servant or the Kinkara of Sri Guru and Sri Nam. That will be our life. Now, we can look at that from a distance. And that's okay, because it's very rare that someone will have come to the point in their life where, okay, I have no more business here, only to follow what my Gurudev has told, that's all. To serve his desire, his will. Then that will happen for everyone. But now, we may be in Grihastha life, we may be Brahmachari, we may be Vanaprastha, or even Sannyasi, but we will have to become, to that extent, completely immersed. Completely immersed. Not thinking ever, oh, I'm this body. Oh, I have these qualities, these possessions. I have this husband, wife, children, all of that. We're very much absorbed in that currently. Very much absorbed. But that's the stage of life where it is fully allowed. But you'll still have to work towards detachment. And that's why the Varnashram system is there. It gives you a life path. Then Panchashardvam Vanam Brajet. Most devotees, they don't really even know the meaning of it, of these words. Panchashardvam Vanam Brajet is an instruction that by the age of 50, because we can only expect maybe 100 years maximum. Nowadays, in your 70s and your 80s, you're gone, bye-bye, you see. But Panchashardvam Vanam Brajet, by the age of 50, you have to go to the vana. You have to go to the forest. And that, what does that mean? That means vanaprastha. Vanaprastha. You go to the forest. And the forest does not just mean like back in Satya Yuga or other yugas that you start living in the forest and eating the fruits and everything there. No. It means that you live in Vrindavan forest. This is how our acharyas have explained this. Go to the forest means that the temples, the ashramas, they are meant to give shelter to all the very sincere souls who are coming. They are meant to give shelter. That they can come and they can live in the association of the Vaishnavas, hearing continually day after day, doing kirtan, doing seva, and gradually they move forward. So whether one is grihastha or anything, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he established what? He established Daivi Varnashram. You know that term, Daivi Varnashram? You know? Daivi. Not just Varnashram. Daivi Varnashram. You know what it's referring to? It's referring to mainly the ashram dharma, not the varna dharma. The ashram dharma means brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. Because the varna dharma cannot be applied at the present time. In the future, it may be. As Mahaprabhu's movement takes over the world, and it will very soon. It's all being arranged by the Lord. How very soon? 20 years or so, we will see. Massive destruction will come. Massive destruction. But it's all Mahaprabhu. Just like the Battle of Kurukshetra had to eliminate all the demoniac military forces. That was the intention. And that's why Krishna told Arjuna, you must fight. It is my desire. So the same thing is going to go on now. All the great astrologers can easily see it when they look at the, all the constellations and whatever that's all called in astrological vocabulary, They look at that and they see. No question. This has not come in thousands of years. This formation has not come in thousands of years. But now, we're just approaching it. Right now, we're approaching it. So it means complete change. But anyway, the jivas like to have happy lives. And we want that all the jivas should have happy lives, but they should have happy lives serving Krishna. Because if you want to have happy life, and you're not serving Krishna, but you want to have happy life, guess what? It ain't possible. It's not possible at all to have actual happy life without Krishna. So we are so very fortunate, that we have come to this movement. What was the time that we were supposed to complete?
7.
Okay. So, we want happy life. And all of our acharyas, they have come to preach the message of who? Nityananda Chaitanya. Their message. To give joy and happiness to every jivatma. Not just even the ones in the human form, all jivatmas. Their kirtan was drowning this whole Navadvip down for many years. Dancing, singing with hundreds and thousands of devotees. That was going on here 500 years ago. But now, Mahaprabhu has made the arrangement to send a very special jiva to bring it now to the Western countries. And that is our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who did it. He did it. No one else did it. No one else could do it. But he did it. And you know what Srila Sridhar Maharaj said about him? He knew him for many, many years. He said, this is not the word, this is not something that even general acharyas can do. This is not possible. It's not possible to do such a thing. Unless what? Unless you are empowered. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj saw the prayer that Prabhupada wrote on the Jaladuta, and especially on Boston Harbor. That was just a few days ago. In ISKCON, the ISKCON Boston, they just had like a big festival there to commemorate, 60 years. The 60th year anniversary of Prabhupada's arrival in Boston Harbor. You see? And now we see that the Hare Krishna movement cannot be stopped. Prabhupada told. He said this movement can never be stopped because this movement is Krishna himself. Can never be stopped. Only some delay can be brought from within the movement. That can happen, but can never be stopped. So now here we are in Mayapur, Navadvip. There are hundreds and hundreds of foreign devotees who've now moved here. They stay here. There's schools for the children. There's restaurants. There's all these facilities for the devotees to become happy. We didn't have a single shop to go to when we were brahmacharis in 77, 79. I won't get into that. Very austere. Very, extremely austere. And on top of that, we had to drink the regular water. We didn't have any purified water. And then we got malaria, we got jaundice. Yeah, it was not easy. Even Prabhupada's personal servants, what, needs charging?
Yes, sir, please.
What?
Just the batteries need replacing.
Yeah, the battery light. So, what was I saying?
Personal servant.
Huh?
Prabhupada's personal servant. He got sick too.
Yeah. There's a Shrutakirti Prabhu who lives here sometimes and lives in Vrindavan. He wrote in his book so many of his experiences with Srila Prabhupada. And it was not easy. It was not easy to stay with Prabhupada at that time. And then the devotees were getting, dysentery, all of these kind of things. And it was very difficult for a foreign body to adjust to living in India. But now, it's become way easier. Still there's some adjustment required, but it's become way easier. Does that need to be charged also? Oh my God. Okay. Now, to complete this class, now, Gurudev is saying, in this lecture called Vrishabhanu Nandini, that's the title. And this lecture, I already said, was given in Australia, in Murwillumbah, back in like 1998. Then it was printed in the Rays of the Harmonist magazine. So, Gurudev is now telling, there's so much here. It's just dripping with nectar and very deep, very penetrating, true Siddhanta, pure Siddhanta. So now Gurudev is telling us that in Vaidhi Bhakti or devotional service, which is following the prescribed rules and regulations, well, what is prominent in the Vaidhi Bhakti pathway? The worship of the deity is prominent, Archan. The worship of the deity of the Lord is prominent. And then Gurudev said, note down these very authentic points. This is before he even begins his lecture. He's telling, because there was a lot of senior devotees there at the time, and Gurudev was kind of speaking this for the first time in the West. So now he says, now someone may be serving Radha and Krishna and performing archan to them and so forth. So some devotees are serving the deity form and they're performing archan to them. But even though that person is performing his worship in accordance with Vaidhi Marg, the path of regulations, he's doing that according to that. And what usually happens if you're doing that Vaidhi Marg archan? Here Gurudev is saying, ordinarily, that will bring you to Vaikuntha. It will bring you to Vaikuntha. And then Gurudev says, but Gurudev said, but even though he's performing his worship in accordance with the Vaidhi Marg, the path of regulation, he will not go to Vaikuntha. Where will he go? If he is liberated and he has become Siddha, perfect, then he will go to that part of Goloka where there is opulence in that part of Goloka. Now try to understand. When we see the picture of Goloka on the covers of the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And it's shaped like a lotus flower. And then in the middle, there is the whorl. And there are the most intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna take place there, which is called Goloka Braj. And when Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma and descends into a material universe, which he's doing continually, non-stop, because there are millions of universes, that shows you how tiny and insignificant we are, millions of universes. But it's not a problem for Krishna. Why? Because he's the super soul in the heart of everyone. He knows everything. He knows what's going on, past, present, future, everything. So when that takes place, then that person, he can go to that section, that part of Goloka where there's opulence. But there is also Svakiya Bhav. What does Svakiya mean? Do you know? The word Svakiya means married love. Svakiya. Parakiya means what? What? No, they're both conjugal. They're both conjugal love. Svakiya and Parakiya. Well, what is Parakiya?
Paramur.
Paramur, which means what?
Flawless.
Huh?
Unmarried.
That you have a husband. Parakiya means you have a husband because Yogamaya has arranged that. Otherwise there cannot be the Parakiya rasa and all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna if there's no Parakiya. So to be Parakiya, you have to cheat your husbands and all the family members and you have to run to Krishna. That's what we are taught in the Ras Panchadhyaya, 5 chapters of the Ras Leela. And that's what the gopis did, and they demonstrated it for all future generations in this day of Brahma. So like that, Parakiya is there. The wedded conjugal love is in that area of Goloka, on the outskirts of Goloka, where there is a lot of opulence and there is also Swakiya Bhav, wedded conjugal love. There is no Parakiya, no unwedded amorous pastimes there. It is like Vaikuntha, where there is so much opulence and where there is Swakiya Bhav. It is like that, where there is Vaikuntha. This is all Swakiya, is it not? Is it not all married? Is Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, is he married in Vaikuntha or not? Of course he is. Yes. And so everyone loves him with that mood of Svakiya. It's also conjugal mood, but it cannot be anything in comparison with the Parakiya mood of Braj. So now, just to put this all in perspective, in that part of Goloka, the devotee serves in that part. Which part? The Swakiya part of Goloka. The devotee serves very reverentially. And then Gurudev also shows his hands like this, bows. They're serving very reverentially there. And they will address Radha and Krishna. When they're directly speaking to them, they will address Radha and Krishna by saying, "Oh Prabhu." And it'll be just like one addresses Lakshmi and Narayan in Vaikuntha. "Oh Prabhu." That will be the mood there. But since they are worshipping Radha and Krishna, so they are not in Vaikuntha. That's why. If they were worshipping Lakshmi Narayan, they'd just be in Vaikuntha. But because they're worshipping Radha and Krishna, they're not in Vaikuntha. They're in Goloka. But which part of Goloka? This is very essential to understand. Because there's different sections and different levels in Goloka. So in this case, Gurudev is saying that because they're worshipping Radha and Krishna, therefore they don't go to Vaikuntha. They are in that part of Goloka that is on the boundary or the perimeter of Braj Mandala. And it is called Gokul or Vrindavan. But they're on the perimeter. They're not in Gokul, Vraj, Vrindavan. They're not in there. Now, what about the next category? Those who are performing the archan of Radha Krishna on the path of Rag Anuga. Here it's always translated as spontaneous love, but we've heard a lot of details about this. And Raganuga Bhakti is when someone now has very deep feelings in the heart that they want to be like the associates of Radha and Krishna in Braj. That mood is coming in the heart. So that now they can be Rag Anuga, which means that they're following Rag, because all the associates of Krishna are called Rag Atmik. They're all Rag Atmik, because the term Rag means that they're overwhelmed at every single moment with such deep love and attachment to Krishna. So, for the jivas in this world, Mahaprabhu has taught that we have to follow their moods. That's the word anuga means to follow. To follow, anuga. That's why we like the term Rupanuga. Oh, we're followers of Rupa Goswami. But what really is a Rupanuga, that you have to hear when Gurudev starts to tell really what is a Rupanuga. You can't just say, oh, we're Rupanugas. No. So those who are performing the archan of Radha Krishna on the path of Raganuga, spontaneous love, they will go to Vrindavan. They will go to Vrindavan. They will go to the very heart of Goloka, where they will serve Radha Krishna Jugal in Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. The topmost brilliantly radiant love, Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. And those who worship Radha and Krishna but not in the mood of this Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, and not under the guidance of any gopi. If they're serving, they're worshipping Radha and Krishna, but not under the guidance of a gopi. Because you cannot go to Radha and Krishna's personal association in the Nikunja. You cannot go there unless you have that mood. That mood has developed in your heart, that you want to serve Radha and Krishna eternally in the Nikunja. That's why the real prayer, which I didn't get around to telling of the Tulsi prayer, is saying exactly that. And nowadays I sit in front of Tulsi and I meditate on each and every word, on each and every sentence, and I realize that amazing, amazing prayer to Tulsi. Because from the very beginning, we're praying to Tulsi, who is who? Tulsi is Vrinda Devi herself. She's manifested in this world to bring us to Vrindavan. So Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Prayasi. You are so dear and beloved of Krishna. Namo Nama, I offer my obeisances to you. Radha Krishna Seva Pabo E Abhilasi. It is my desire. This is my desire. You're putting your desire forward to Radha and Krishna. Did we have that understanding way back in the early 70s? No. We didn't have specific. We just want to serve Krishna. And Radharani is also there, and the Krishna book tells all the pastimes and everything. But to have the exclusive mood, that's what Gurudev's talking about here. So I'm just going to wind it up now. Okay. So those who worship Radha and Krishna but not in the mood of this Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, no, not in that mood, but they're serving Radha and Krishna, and not under the guidance of any gopi, then they will go to Mathura or Dwarka in Goloka. You cannot go into Radha and Krishna's pastimes without what? Without being under the guidance of the gopis. That was clearly explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Ramananda Roy in the conversation with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no other way. But how to get there to that? You cannot artificially just jump. Oh, now I'm going to do what it says. I'm just going to be under the guidance of a gopi. No. It has to develop inwardly, you see. So you're only going to make it to Mathura or Dwarka in Goloka if you're not under the guidance of a gopi and you're not in the mood of Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. You cannot go to Goloka Braj. So they will serve in Goloka. Such persons will serve who? Satyabhama, because she's there in Dwarka. And they will serve Satyabhama and Krishna there. So, Satyabhama's manifestation of Radhika. And such persons will serve Satyabhama and Krishna there. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has kindly explained all of these truths, and one who is aspiring to practice Rag Anuga Bhakti should know them. That's what Gurudev came for, to inform us. And it's all there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's all there. But we did not have the good fortune at that time to have the adhikar to hear it. So Prabhupada told us what we could understand. And that's a lot, a lot. I even listened to Srila Prabhupada's 1966 lectures on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1. Verse after verse after verse. We have those lectures. And it's amazing what Prabhupada is giving. But all of this is in the realm of what? sambandha gyan, to develop our knowledge of relationship. So, Gurudev is saying that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has kindly explained all these truths, and one who is aspiring to practice Raganuga Bhakti, he should know them. And you should also know, Gurudev said, that Goloka consists of 3 places. That Goloka consists of 3 categories of places. First one is called Vrindavan, Gokul, and Braj. All those names apply to the center of the whirl of Goloka Vrindavan, where Braj pastimes are going on. So, then the second one is Dwarka. Dwarka is there in Goloka. And the third one is Kurukshetra and other places. They're also there. So in other words, what mood a devotee has gradually sends him along the pathway where he can attain those. So these, Srimati Radhika also, she also has 3 aspects. She is the same Radhika in all 3, but her mood is somewhat different. These aspects are called Vrishabhanu Nandini, Radhika Viyogini, and Radhika Samyogini. We've heard Gurudev tell this many times, that these 3 aspects of Srimati Radhika. So who is Vrishabhanu Nandini? Who is she? Srimati Radhika is always with Krishna. Always, he says. Always. That's Vrishabhanu Nandini. They are never separate. Although a mood of separation is sometimes there when Srimati Radhika is in Man, her mood of jealous anger, or when Krishna goes cow herding, or when Radhika feels prem vaichitya, separation from Krishna, even when they are together. Only at these times there is this mood of separation. But Krishna and Radhika are always together. So Vrishabhanu Nandini never feels separation. Vrishabhanu Nandini. That's her eternal form. Just like Krishna, we know, he never leaves Vrindavan. Not one step does he ever take out of Vrindavan. You know that. You've heard that before. Never Krishna leaves Vrindavan for a single moment. He never has, he never will in all of eternity. Why? Because that's his most highly relishable, tasting the highest ras with the highest devotees. So that is our aim and object, to develop that kind of prema where we can actually go there. So now, to wind this up, so this is called Nitya Lila. Nitya Lila, eternal pastimes. Nitya Lila. And Nitya Lila continues from one morning to the next. Right? Who gave us a lot of that information? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his book Bhajan Rahasya, he gave us the overview of that. So, it starts from one morning to the next morning, 24 hours. And Nishanta Lila, early morning pastimes at the end of night. So to all the other Leelas, in each 24-hour period, it encompasses all of that. Do you understand, Gurudev is asking? There is no Naimitic Leela there in Goloka Braj. What is Naimitic?
Temporary.
Temporary in what way?
Only for that one situation, or
Can you give an example?
like Namitika Dharma.
Yeah.
For the jivas,
Uh-huh.
maybe something related to their ashram.
Mm-hmm. But what about Krishna's Naimitic Leela?
I don't know.
Okay. Here, there is an explanation here in the footnote. The word Naimitic literally means an activity that takes place due to some other cause. Okay? Naimitic lila. It is sometimes called causal activity because this cause does not exist in the spiritual world. In other words, because there are no demons there in the spiritual world, because there is no one opposing Radha and Krishna's union, and because Krishna never leaves that place, such pastimes do not exist there. They only exist as a conception or a mood. So, these different manifestations of the Dham, Prakat Dham, he's telling, Prakat Dham, that is where we are now. This is where Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he performed his Prakat Lila. But what is aprakat? That means that it's in the spiritual world. It's not manifested at the present time. So, where Krishna and Radha are performing their Nitya Lila, their eternal pastimes, that is the aprakat. And the third understanding of the Dham is where we are at. So first is Prakat Lila, then Aprakat Lila, and then what? It's called Drishyaman Prakash or Drishyaman Dham. Drishya means to see. So what you can actually see with your eyes. We are all seeing Navadvip Dham here. Or when we go for Kartik, then we will be seeing Vrindavan Dham with our eyes. That's actually the manifestation of the Dham, but it's for Drishyaman Prakash. So Gurudev goes into very beautiful explanations of this, which we cannot tell now because clock has gone. We have so many Vaishnavas who have also come to take prasadam, and we have to do artik, right? Artik, yeah. And then everyone will sit very happily, because we want everyone to be very happy all the time, and Navadvip Dham, never be unhappy. So, if we do this all the time, then we'll become more and more and more happy, you see. So I'm ending here, and I will continue at another time. I don't know, maybe even at your program, but I want to speak about Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj at your program on the 26th, right? Today is 23rd, 24th, 25th. So 3 days from today. It is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, who I also accept as one of my Siksha gurus. And I mean, we could go on for a few weeks talking about his glories and all the writings that he did while he was physically present over a period of like 80 years, article after article after article. So we're very fortunate to have his books, which have been translated into English, and beautiful books. So I'm going to bring one of those books, the, what's it called? Of Love and Separation, where he is offering his Vyas Puja to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati again and again throughout the book, like on different years, his Vyas Puja. So, we are here, we will be in Vrindavan in 1 week, and there we will be for 6 weeks, 1 week before Kartik, 1 week after Kartik, and the month of Kartik. And then we will be flying back here for the entire rest of the year. That's all. I don't go anywhere else. No, anywhere else. I've already gone so many times. So no need. Body cannot do anymore. So we will do that on Thursday, is it? Friday? The 26th is Friday. Okay, so on Friday we'll have a wonderful festival at the house of Gandharvika and Shyam Prabhu and their 2 twin boys. Where are they? Are they here? Huh?
It's Gandharvika and the boy.
Oh, okay. Because I saw a couple of that are even. Oh no, those are the other twins, right? Rajavilasini's twins. But have they met each other yet? I'm going to have to take a photo of both of them standing side by side, two identical twin pairs of little Vaishnavas. And we'll see who is the most identical. Okay? Like that. Okay, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo.